let's begin with one thing. I know there's so much going on. I know there's so many years built up behind this dam of energy and emotion.
Hey, I'm starving. What the hell are you doing over there?
I'm curing cancer. I'm cooking your fucking steak. What do you think I'm doing?
What do I think you're doing? I think you're bleeding us dry, is what I think you're doing. Look at this. Look at this. $129 at Filene's basement. What are you buying over there, Tammy? Gold bars?
I need clothes for work, all right, Teddy?
What do you mean? You wear a smock. You're a fucking cashier.
Yeah, so are you.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not going out and buying designer shit.
Oh,
I'm not going
no.
into
You're just buying weed. You're just buying drugs. You should fucking talk.
I was talking. I was just talking just now until you interrupted me.
Well, I have to interrupt you or else I never get to fucking say anything.
Are you gonna let me finish
You're
talking?
always cutting me
off. Are
off.
you gonna let me finish talking?
You know what? It's
Are you gonna
important
let me
to
finish
look good
talking?
at work,
Are you
okay?
gonna let me finish?
I am trying to climb the
People
corporate
are not-
fence here,
Nobody's
okay?
in there to look at your
You know,
ass.
you're acting
They're
like
all there
an
to buy.
asshole,
Oh,
all
what
right?
am I acting
You're
like,
acting
Tammy?
like a fucking
What am I
asshole.
acting like?
Like an asshole. That's what
You
you're
don't
acting
gotta
like.
dress like Elizabeth Taylor to put a yam in a plastic bag.
I am the face of the business, okay?
The
So
face
get
of the
fuck off
business.
my case,
Jesus.
all right?
Rice, listen to you.
Let's look at why this is happening and what you can do about it. My intention is that you get to get back some of the brilliant color of intimacy in your life, of the magic in your life that you deserve and your wife deserves. Okay, right off the bat, I just wanted to say thank you for allowing me to be just a small part of the work you and Jeff are doing together. Right now, I'm sitting looking at late fall trees and all these grasses and a field and a lake. And the colors are magnificent. They're the burnt orange and the flaxen color and the blondes and the yellows. And the colors are more brilliant today than they were yesterday because so unusual for Colorado, we have this overcast rainy day, which just makes the colors pop. And it opens my heart and I'm in joy of the beauty of it. And it reminds me of what is so incredibly magical in this world. I wanted to share that because I know for a really long time, the relationship between you and your wife, especially with like sex and intimacy, it's been like the overcast sky. And I just want to commend you at your incredible strength to hold so much space for all this for that's a really long time to be holding space for something that's been kind of tough. So let's begin with one thing. I know there's so much going on. I know there's so many years built up behind this dam of energy and emotion. But let's start with the frustration that when you try to do something for your wife, like cook her dinner, something so simple and yet it's just so kind and generous and giving. And all you get back is negativity and an immediate no. Or I know it sounds like when she comes back from vacation, I don't know if perhaps you're trying to reach out and connect to her and say, hey, it's so good to see you. And you just feel like all you get is anger and negativity back. Let's look at why this is happening and what you can do about it. And I know nothing is a quick fix, but kind of like the water that's dripping outside today, it's these how to do things it's like we're dropping one water on the plant, one water on the plant, one water on the plant. And the plant might not become immediately lush and full at once, but it will eventually. And that's our goal and intention. So why is your wife not able to receive the gifts that you honorably and full-heartedly are offering her? First, that's incredibly painful for both men and women to be offering something authentically from themselves and to not be received. You know, all of us as human beings have experienced that probably from even being little kids ourselves. And then middle school's a great hunting ground for those kind of like experiences, and then all in adulthood. So what I imagine is going on with your wife is years and years of built up protective skin around some of those initial pains that she experienced in her life long before she met you. You see, there's this thing about women and femininity that is not often talked about, but you see it everywhere in our world. It's why women tend toward, you know, dressing carefully, buying certain shoes, jewelry, wearing makeup, getting their hair done. That is kind of a box we put around something that's a core energy of femininity, and that core energy is she has a deep, deep well of desire to be seen and noticed. And now I could go into there's so much evolutionary and historic real reason for that. I could also go into how some women kind of blow that need out of proportion. But what I'd really like to stick to is, if we're calling like this core energy, this core spirit desire to be seen, it's not something that she can just cut off of herself. It's not something that's wrong or bad or selfish. It's, in my spiritual sense, it serves a real purpose. This desire to be seen, it's like the aspen trees that we have out here. Those leaves shiver and shake in the breeze, unlike any other tree's leaves do. And especially in the fall when they're dry, it's this incredible sound. Oh my gosh, when you walk under that sound and you look up, you're just like reminded of beauty. All of a sudden, all the things that were in your head, the to-do list, that I have to get this done for work, worry, concern, goes away because you are in the present moment and you are experiencing something so miraculous that you can't believe it. To me, that's the woman's desire to be seen, is that she wants to remind the world to see beauty. You see the light in her eye, and then suddenly you look out the window and you see the sun shining and you're coming into the present moment. What a delightful reason behind women wearing makeup or certain clothes, or loving her partner saying to her, "Oh my God, you are so beautiful." So delightful and also so painful. Often what happens with young women in their first relationships is they're not fully self-differentiated beings, of course. So they've got holes and wounds from childhood, the times when they were not seen by their parents, or shamed or guilted, or didn't feel beautiful enough or included or liked. And so those first relationships where a young man or boy looks at them and says or acts with the, "Oh my God, I want you," that fills in those holes for that young girl. Suddenly that nagging evolutionary concern she has, that if I'm not enough and I'm not seen and I'm not desired, I won't be included in the tribe and I won't be connected and I want a partnership. I know that's kind of crazy in this day and age because we're telling our girls, like, be powerful, be independent. You don't need anyone else. Partnership is great, but you got to be strong. Yes, and there is still this soft moss inside of her that is healed when someone says, your eyes are just so bright and beautiful today. So those first relationships, girls, I suspect your wife, some of those holes were being filled in. And then those first breakups can be absolutely devastating because that response, I'm being seen, I'm being valued, I'm appreciated for my beauty serving a purpose. It's like the knife in the heart. It's like you were standing on a carpet and suddenly the carpet was pulled out from under you. And that hole, if there's no one around in that young girl's life to offer some healing and guidance and how to move forward in that, just stays there. And then that young woman moves into a relationship, a marriage where her partner in like the very beginning is like, I want you. And it's the same feeling. And then there's all this excitement about getting married, about starting a life together. And this is what's so hard for women to understand about men and men to understand about women. Women are so much more integrated into relationship as the focus. And that's how we do life the most loving way. Men can be more in that honorable, okay, I've got relationship and family, but I've got to protect and provide for this family. And that protector and provider energy is very different. It's like eyes with moving this way, a sword moving this way. It's like, yes, family and love, I'm over here, but I gotta go onto the battlefield and I gotta make this happen. I gotta go home and I gotta go out and bring home the meat. And for a woman who's always like, even if she's at work, she's in the connection of her relationship, she can't differentiate or kind of do blinders from that streamline, that focus vision of her partner is gonna kind of get back into that original whole of those first breakups or first times when she kind of felt like she wasn't enough for another person in her life. And so unbeknownst to the man who is doing, sacrificing, honoring his family, his attention away and maybe not noticing her so much or noticing the different outfits she wore that day, or not maybe telling her so much that he thinks that she's so beautiful and lovely. He's being honorable and she's getting more and more hurt, but there's not a lot of ways to talk about that. So it can come out in little arguments. It can come out in passive aggressiveness. And then, so a woman gets a little hurt, pain, passive aggressive, or shut down, however she does it. And man keeps wanting to fix and provide and do what he's supposed to for his family. And the separation or the aggressive energy between the two just starts to get bigger and bigger and bigger and layer on year after year after year after year until you get to a point where there's a woman who has so armored up against that pain or feeling like the rug was kind of shifted out from under her, that her way of dealing with that pain is to be like, that's fine, I don't need anything. Because if you don't need anything from anyone, especially the things you're not even saying that you want or can't even verbalize that you want or didn't even know that you want, but if you don't want anything from someone, if you can shut off your body and shut off your heart and shut off your desire, then it doesn't hurt when they can't be there. So this is what I think is happening right now when you're offering a gift. You are meeting a woman with a very strong protective armor of I don't need anything. Now, some of what I've said, since I don't know all of your story, may not perfectly align, but this is a pattern that I've seen in femininity and masculinity, in partnership, over and over and over again. So please feel free to take what works for you and leave behind what doesn't. And for our last piece together, let's talk about how you can start to shift this energy. So women are not simple, are they? A woman's desire, an emotional level, which then infuses her physical desire for you as a man, it's like layers of skin. And so that outer layer is the deep desire to be seen. And then there's 3 more layers behind that, which if you wanted to, we could talk about more, but let's start with that. Let's start cutting through that first outer layer about healing some of her desire to be seen. And whatever authentic language this is for you, this is daily reminder to yourself to see the aspen tree in your wife. Notice how her leaves are fluttering that day. Notice if her eyes are bright, or if she compels you with your beauty, or if there's a color she's wearing that brings out the rose in her cheeks. Even just starting with, you are so beautiful. Starting with, gosh, I love your hair when it looks like that. Your cheek is so soft. Your eyes are so deep. Even thinking back to when you first met your wife, writing down a list of what you remember you first noticed about her. Was it her lips? Was it her body? And then use those in a daily comment to her. If that's kind of tough verbally, and if her skin's really tight and she's, those first drips of water she just can't receive, sending a text message is wonderful. Leaving a sticky note on the mirror. It's hard for someone to refuse our love when we leave them those touches that are very tangible. So thank you for your time in watching this video. Stay curious as you're dripping this water and you're seeing your wife. See what starts to unfold. See if there's a little bit more color that begins to pop out somewhere. If you have feedback for me or questions, I would love to answer that. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And thank you so much for all you do.
I'ma tell you about a woman whose heart is sunshine, whose body burned hot. I'ma tell you about a woman who's cold as tundra with some frozen eyes.